What's going on, people? Zapp here, and it is damn near 2016 now. We are in December of 2015. It's the end of the year, and as per the YouTube norm, just about every commentator and their mother is doing like a year end, best of 2015, yada yada yada. Guys are doing videos for their favorite single player game, their favorite RPG, their favorite shooter, etc., etc., etc. And this video isn't going to be too much different. As per the title, I'm going to be giving you guys my thoughts on what I believe is the best multiplayer game of the year 2015. Now, I kind of broke it down into just a few select games because there were a lot of multiplayer games that actually came out this year, especially more towards the end of the year. But I think I just wanted to narrow it down towards which games I thought were actually relevant and which ones many of you guys might still be playing right now. Now keep in mind, this is just for the year 2015, so if you're playing Destiny still, that doesn't count. That came out in September of last year, okay? Now the games are obviously Call of Duty Black Ops 3, Star Wars Battlefront, Battlefield Hardline, Halo 5 Guardians, and last but not least, the Gears of War Ultimate Edition. Which of these games do I feel was the best multiplayer experience across all spectrums of what a multiplayer game should offer to its player base? Now you got to take a lot of things into account. What aspects of multiplayer provide you with replayability. You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't get too stale after a while. You have plenty of things to continue playing for, unlocks and things like that. So which of these games that I just mentioned provides the most replay value and the most gameplay for your buck in terms of the multiplayer? Don't count single player, don't count co-op. Well, actually, technically we'll count co-op as well, but don't count single player at all in this. I'm talking about just from a sheer multiplayer experience, right? And it was actually pretty close between two games, maybe three. All right. Let's go down the list. Let's talk about Gears of War Ultimate Edition first and foremost. I put Gears of War Ultimate Edition last just for the fact that the game is pretty outdated. Gears of War Ultimate Edition is just a reskin of Gears of War 1, which came out in 2006. Right? So the game roughly is 9 years old. And although they remastered it, quote unquote, it still plays like a 9-year-old game. Character movement is very blocky. The lack of weapons and things like that kind of gets to you. And I know that kind of bugs a lot of the Gears of War purists because, they wanted Gears of War Ultimate Edition to just be reminiscent of Gears of War 1. They just wanted a throwback. But after playing games that have better movement, Gears of War 3 had much better movement, and even Gears of War Judgment has better movement than Gears of War 1. It's really hard to go back to playing a game that plays like it does, like it's still back in 2006, right? So with the square blocky movement and the lack of content, too few game modes, the community for the most part, a good chunk of it already just abandoned it for other multiplayer games that came out after it. And I know a lot of the Gears of War fan base actually went to Call of Duty, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, man, I just don't think Gears of War Ultimate Edition provided enough content, because once that initial nostalgia just wore off, you're just kind of just going through the motions. So I felt like out of all the games that I mentioned, Gears of War Ultimate Edition provided the least amount of content and the least replayability amongst all the games. Was it a bad game? No. I love Gears of War 1. I love the multiplayer because it provides something that a lot of other multiplayer games doesn't, but it just doesn't provide enough of an overall multiplayer experience to keep me entertained for a long period of time. Next up is Halo 5. Halo 5 I thought was just a big far cry from previous Halo games. I'm a big Halo guy. I love Halos 1, 2, and 3. Halo Reach was somewhat playable to me. I didn't feel like it strayed too far from the Halo formula, but Halo 5 I felt is just going completely away from Halo. I mean, it has some of the same signature weaponry and things like that, but it doesn't feel like a Halo game, right? But if you look at it from a content standpoint, I think Halo 5 does provide a lot of content. The only thing that I think was missing from Halo was the big team battles on launch. Like, I think a lot of the playlists that were in previous Halo games, they should have been implemented in this one. But I do think they added big team battle now, so you can actually play big team battle. And I feel like the maps were just very uninspired. Visually, the game does not scream next gen. It does not look like a next gen game. But just from a gameplay standpoint, Halo 5 just didn't do it for me. And rather than just being Halo, I felt like Halo 5 was just trying to take too many different elements from so many other games, so many modern games, and just put it under a Halo template, I should say. I didn't really feel like I was playing Halo. So while Halo does have a lot of really, really good and interesting features to it, the gameplay itself just did not translate very well for me. Next up, we've got Battlefield Hardline. Battlefield Hardline, I actually thought was really, really good. My biggest issue with Battlefield Hardline on launch was that I felt like it should have been a DLC for Battlefield 4. So if you already had Battlefield 4, I felt no real reason to get Battlefield Hardline. But I eventually did wind up getting Battlefield Hardline for, I want to say, about 30 or 40 bucks on PSN. I have it digitally, and it does stick with the typical Battlefield formula. My biggest gripe with Hardline is that the environments aren't as destructible as previous Battlefield games were. But it still is a Battlefield game. I don't think the game was bad at all. But I think they could have done a little bit more with game modes, and I think could have explored a little bit more with the whole cops and criminals dynamic that I don't really think they put a whole lot of effort into. But then again, the game was made by Visceral, which is the same guys that did Dead Space. So this was their first venture into the Battlefield franchise. So it's kind of like it's not original Battlefield, you know what I'm saying? It's not made by the same guys. It was made by Visceral, so I kind of took it with a grain of salt and let it slide. But Battlefield Hardline was really good, but it's not my game of the year for multiplayer. Next, we have Star Wars Battlefront. Now, Star Wars Battlefront, and let me just say this. If you have never really been big on any of the previous Battlefront games, if you didn't play the first or the second Star Wars Battlefront way back in the day, then you'll probably love this game a whole lot. I'm kind of like in the middle. Knowing what was missing from previous games in this one it's kind of a bummer, because I really wish that I could have like these huge space battles, play as all these different races and things like that. In my review for the game, I gave you guys my thoughts about what I felt the game was missing. Not being able to play as a lot of the different races that I want to, that the customization options are very bland and boring, not being able to talk and game chat with people is huge in multiplayer games. Like the inability to talk to your teammates and team-oriented game types is ridiculous in the year 2015, and it's kind of disgusting. But overall, if you're looking for a pick up and play, fast-paced shooter that's going to boast tons and tons of content in future DLC, then by all means, Star Wars Battlefront is going to be the game for you. And visually, it screams next gen. It screams next gen visually. Next, and finally, the game that I feel is the best multiplayer game of 2015, Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Now, a lot of people are going to disagree with me, and that's fine. You know, this is up for discussion. You guys can talk about it amongst yourselves in the comment section. But I feel that Call of Duty Black Ops 3, for what it's worth, offers the most content and is probably one of the best multiplayer games to have come out in quite a long time. You know, it's one of those games that doesn't force you to buy the DLC in order to feel like you're getting you know, a full game's worth of multiplayer. You know what I mean? Because let's be honest, people buy Call of Duty for two reasons: the multiplayer and for zombies, right? And I feel like the multiplayer mode in Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is amazing. And this is coming from a guy that hasn't purchased a Call of Duty game since Modern Warfare 3, right? I skipped Black Ops 2. I didn't touch that game at all. I dabbled a little bit with both Ghost and Advanced Warfare, but I didn't buy any of those games, right? So coming into Black Ops 3, I kind of had my hopes up. I was a little disappointed with Halo 5. You know, I played Battlefront, or excuse me, no, because Battlefront came out later. But I played Call of Duty Black Ops, and I was like, yo, this is actually really amazing. There's a good amount of maps. The game types are really fun, and I felt like I was getting everything I paid for. And I don't feel pressured to get the DLC because with what I have right now in the game, it's more than enough to hold me over until the next really big multiplayer game release. So, you know, I feel like Call of Duty Black Ops 3 is the best multiplayer game of the year. You know, so people are going to disagree. You know, even though the game visually doesn't look all that great, neither does Halo 5. It plays really well. You know, I don't really have too many connectivity issues, and it plays like any other Call of Duty would. You know, tons of customization options, tons of things to unlock to keep you busy and keep you playing. So I'm happy with it, absolutely. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. What's your multiplayer game of 2015? Let me know in the comment section, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace.